I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative that you're not normal.
Oh, thank you.
No, because I'm not normal, and normal is boring. Normal is fucking infuriating to me. You know, like you see, like all these posts on Facebook where they're 20 things women should know about men, 20 things men should know about women. It's like, some of them, yeah, valid points. Some of them, no. Just douchebag and or bitchy things.
Yeah. Well...
And if that's normal, I don't want to be a fucking part of it.
See... Okay, so... For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of this guy that did one of these TED Talks. But he had this, like... 10-minute, 12-minute TED Talk about how... there's the regular bell curve, or there's like the regular curve that everybody follows, and scientists will skew data to make things fit the curve to prove their theory or to get published. You know what I mean? I know. Infuriating.
I'm sorry, they do what?
Listen. So he draws this, like, curve, this, like, normal, standard curve that looks perfect, that would make any scientist, like, have a wet dream, So he shows a picture of this curve, and he shows a picture of a dot outside the curve, like above the curve. And he's like, scientists will say, this is the average. The average human fits in this category, and the average human should take, 2 Tylenol, and the average person should do this. And he goes, I want to study the above average human. The one that they try to skew their data or cut the parameters of their data to eliminate that one person that's above average because it doesn't fit in with their numbers. The not normal person.
Yeah.
And he says, what if we looked at that one not normal person and studied that one person whose data didn't fit on our line, on our curve, and found out what the hell they're doing and try to be more like them? He's like, think of how... And he was using
this... Yeah, because that's progress to me.
Right, and he was using this, to study positive psychology and to say, okay, well, this one person seems to be happier and more successful than the rest of us. Instead of cutting them out of our data and making our data match the curve, why don't we bump the curve up to match, that one person? He's like, why don't we study that one person and figure out what they're doing to be above the curve and strive to be more like them? So it's the average person. My point is you can't fit the average person into a list.
Right.
You can't make a list and say, okay, it's tailored to these people. No. Talk about the person that doesn't fit on the list. Talk about the person who's better than the list.
Yeah. The only difficulty I could see with that is getting that person to acquiesce to being studied.
Well, okay, but that's not the whole point.
No, that is the point, because I'm the asshole that's going to track them down like the fucking paparazzi and be a bug up their ass and be like, so, what are you doing differently? What are you eating? Well, how was your home life? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to, like, be a pain in the ass to figure out what are you doing, or eating or being immersed in that is making you greater than. Because some sort of factor in your life is making you greater than, and what we need to progress is to do whatever that thing is that's making you greater than.
Right, and I'm thinking that if they've submitted themselves to a scientific study in the first place, they'll probably acquiesce to being studied or to, answering
over the long term, though?
A panel of questions. I don't know. I've not met that person. How the hell would I know?
We are that person.
Okay, so would you submit yourself to science?
It depends. Well, no, seriously, because you're talking about, would I submit to a survey of a few questions? Sure. Would I submit to a survey of 25 questions? Sure. 50 questions? Sure. 100 questions? Let me see what kind of time I have. Seriously.
So you're telling me that in the interest of advancing science, you wouldn't answer 100 questions, or you may or may not answer 100
I would,
questions?
but that's not the point.
No, that's the point.
Me, personally, yes, I would. Absolutely.
So
you know,
if you're an above average person who understands that they're doing this to make scientific advances to improving the general population, I think that person would probably submit themselves to a panel of questions at least.
Okay.
If they were, like, doing experimental drugs, I don't know about that.
Well, here's the thing. So, it depends on what the survey is about. If you're, if you're surveying, X amount of people to find out who's more fucked up, and I'm outside the curve, and you want to study me, no, fucking leave me alone and let me get unfucked up. Okay? I really don't feel like dealing with that and revisiting that pain and just bashing my head into a brick wall day after day after day for months on end.
You are way off topic.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I'm not.
We're talking about improving science, not...
Okay, yes. But I'm in the aspect of being outside the curve, greater than the curve. Okay? As a for instance, if your curve is, on average, people are this fucked up. And I'm way over here because I'm this fucked up. No, leave me alone. Fine, leave me out of the curve.
Well, you probably wouldn't be submitted to a panel of questions anyway, because they'd be like, he's mentally unstable, you can't trust his data anyway. So their entire scientific experiment would be
foobarred by me.
Right.
Because I'm that guy. So it depends on the survey. On average, people are this much of an asshole. I'm this much of an asshole. Let's ask you a bajillion more questions. No, fuck off. Okay, obviously...
Again, you're proving the mentally unstable point. You're too unstable to answer these questions. You're unfit for public consumption.
I can answer the questions.
We can't put that many curse words in a scientific study.
I can answer the questions. Here's my answer. Fuck off.
We can't publish in the Journal of Medicine that many F words. We're gonna have to ask you to leave. We didn't even ask you to be in this study in the first place.
Subject 782 answered fuck off to every question. How old are you, sir? Fuck off!
We tried to give him one of those tests where he just filled in the dots. He just made a giant F and a giant U with the little tiny dots.
Is it sad that I'm thinking about how one could do that?